Good morning, Oracles. Well, I know that we talk about Tesla on here a lot, but one of the important things to discuss when it's coming to Tesla is the competition. And yes, we say that competition is coming. Is it really coming? It is. There's going to be a lot of other players in the field, and it is important to see what is going on with them and how they run their business. So Sandy Munro yesterday on Munro Live had an interview with Jim Farley and other executives from Ford. This I thought was a very good interview. I've got the link down in the description if you guys want to check that out. I highly recommend it. It's about 50 minutes long. And quite honestly, it reinforced my feeling that I had mentioned last week about, of all of the legacy automotive makers, Ford is the one that I would like to succeed the most. Jim Farley is a stand-up guy, very genuine. And what he said at the end to Sandy really solidified it all for me. And I'll let you guys watch that. But I got emotional in listening to it because of how I feel about Sandy and what he has done. So, with all of that said, some of the things that they had discussed, and just looking at, the mannerisms, and I'm a kind of guy who will pay attention to body language, how people carry themselves, the way they're answering questions. So, it seems like, they are confident in the direction that they are moving, but they're also, I don't want to say scared, but they definitely feel that they have a strong challenge ahead of them to reach the goals that they need to reach in the time frame that they want to reach them. So, everybody's kind of in this boat right now, but they definitely seem like they feel it, but they're moving in that direction. And with Jim at the helm, what I like about Jim is the fact that he appreciates criticism. It's very much like Elon and Tesla, where he appreciates the criticism, and he mentions it to Sandy at the end, because that is what they can learn from. You can't learn and improve when you're surrounded by yes men. When you have people who just tell you yes, that you're correct all day long, you're never going to improve. You need people to point out your mistakes. One of the reasons I love the feedback from you guys on this channel. You give me constructive criticism to improve myself. If you guys didn't tell me what, I could do better, then how could I do better? I could try to do things, but if you guys can point out and give me good criticism, I can improve and do better. Jim and Elon are the same way in that manner. They're looking for that criticism to be able to improve their product, to be able to make things better for the customer. And so speaking of criticism, one of the biggest challenges that Jim said that they faced in the beginning when they were trying to transition over to EVs back 4 years ago, when they were talking about turning the Ford F-150 Lightning to an EV, was the internal criticism that they received. People within the company themselves are like, do we really want to do this? Do we want to go down that route? Do we want to make this vehicle for less of a profit going forward? And Jim said, yes, that is the direction that we want to go. And so that is one of the biggest criticisms that they faced, and one of the biggest challenges they faced in the beginning was, is this something they actually wanted to do? Because we know when it comes to legacy auto, it's not like a startup company where just like, EVs are our direction and we're going that way. They have to cannibalize their current business in order to create a less profitable business in the future. They've got to do this, and they have to transition quickly. And in the interview, Jim was talking about how quickly the transition over to EVs is taking place, much faster than anybody thought. And Sandy said himself, he's like, he feels it's going to double every year. Whereas this year it's 5% global EV adoption, next year will be 10%, 2024 is going to be 20%, and 2025 is going to be 40%. That is the target that I am looking at for myself, is 40% EV adoption by 2025. And if that is the pace that we are going to be moving at with EV adoption, that definitely explains the concern that was being shown physically by the other two as they were discussing, moving forward and trying to get to their goals. And Jim said that 3.5 years is their goal to be producing 2 million vehicles. So that is by the end of 2025, they want to have 2 million. Now, those of us obviously as Tesla fans know that Tesla is going to be hitting that mark next year. And Jim many times touted Tesla as being the leader as they are. He touted Hyundai for doing very well. He touted the Chinese and South Korean markets between Hyundai and Kia being strong players. BYD, NIO, XPeng. Jim understands the challenges that they are facing. Jim understands the competition that they are going to be facing, and Tesla is one of obviously their major competitors. But Jim also said that, they want to be dissimilar from everyone else. They are not looking to be everyone else. They have shrunk their company down to what it is that they know for the meat and potatoes of the company. They have learned what their true customer base is, and they have brought the company to that point. Now they can grow the company from there in the manner of EVs going forward. So again, going back to legacy auto and who is going to survive, I think Ford is the best positioned to get there. Whether they're going to be leading in EVs in the future or not has yet to be seen. Based on the numbers of their goals, they won't be leading anytime soon. But they're going to do it their way, play their game, and they are going to survive and do well from what they do. And they are being very strategic as they are transitioning over. They're taking a look at each one of their segments individually to make sure that as they transition, they're doing it in a wise and strategic manner as to not, take out any other pieces of the puzzle. So they want to move it little by little. That's why they're starting with the F-150 Lightning, they've got the Mach-E, they've got the Maverick, and then they're going to start looking over in the EU and changing things over in Europe as well. And they discussed having a sub $25,000 vehicle, and they explained how the software is a great feature to have because it's very low cost, and you can make a sub $25,000 vehicle seem really expensive just by the software that's in it. This is again why Tesla is focused so heavily on software as well. So for them, it's really a matter of, can you bring the cost of the propulsion system down to make it manageable so you can actually make profits on it? And they didn't give us any more details there. Obviously a lot of things are under, closed wraps. They don't want to share a lot of that information similar to what Tesla is doing. So totally understandable, but we know that it is something that they're working on because that is truly the mass market that they need to be getting into. It's the mass market that all EVs need to get into because that is the largest piece of the automotive market is vehicles that are going to be under $25,000 and under $18,000. And Sandy asked them what their biggest focuses are going forward to make this transition over, and they discussed batteries were a major component of this, and AI is going to be a big piece as well. When it comes to FSD, they're focusing on getting themselves to level 3, but as they're transitioning, it's not just having an EV. Looking at Jim was explaining how he used to have a Prius and he had a sticker for the HOV lane, and he's like, people were paying $5,000 to save 5 minutes in an HOV lane. He's like, so what would people pay to save 45 minutes of each day? So again, this goes back to FSD, and Elon saying FSD is $12,000 and the price is going to go up even more. And by the time they do end up solving it, who knows how much it's going to be? Because truly, how much value can you put on the time you can save? When all of a sudden you're driving in a vehicle and you're not losing time anymore, you're getting all of that time back to be productive, to do whatever it is you want to do. Can you really put a price tag on that? And Sandy did ask him very directly, and I love this about Sandy. He doesn't hold punches, he just asks directly. And he says, is there a possibility of you working with Tesla? And this is where Jim had said, it's always a possibility to happen, but they want to do things their own way. So I think when it comes to Jim and his mentality, it's going to be a lot like Herbert Diess, which they're going to do things their own way, and they're proud of doing things their own way, but they're humble enough to understand that they can still learn from others, which I think is great. And I think Jim's whole entire mentality through this entire interview, to me, is one of the reasons that I want to see Ford succeed, because it's not about Ford just dominating everybody else and being the only one out there. Jim genuinely seemed in this interview to want everyone to succeed and transition everyone over to EVs. That seems like his genuine feeling, very much like Elon. And so when I look at people that I can get behind and companies that I can get behind and support, it's a company who, isn't out there to just destroy everyone else. They genuinely want to encourage everyone else to succeed, and it's more of a friendly competition than, it's trying to take down the other guy. It's about a mutual respect for one another, very much like Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. They would go out there, they would play so hard against each other, really push each other to the limits, and at the end of the day, they shake each other's hands and say, great job, you pushed me to become better. Whereas we see GM is very political and they're like trying to undermine other companies. This is more of a, hey, let's do this together, let's make this transition together, may the best company win. That attitude I love to see. And they did talk about batteries and the fact that CATL has 31% of the global battery market when it comes to EVs. That's monstrous. So Ford is looking to get into batteries themselves. We know obviously Tesla is big on getting into the batteries themselves. We've got a lot of other battery players out there. And the great thing is the more people who are getting into making batteries, the faster this transition is going to happen. Because if we are going to transition as quickly as Sandy is thinking, as quickly as many of us are thinking, we need the supplies. So the more people we can have on board trying to support this and get supplies out there to make the transition happen, the better this is going to be for the future. So all in all, I think this was a great interview. I highly recommend watching it. Definitely worth the 50 minutes to pay attention to it. Let me know if you guys have seen it. Let me know any of your feedback from it. Any other key points that you guys took away from it that you think could be vital for the future of EVs and the EV adoption. And let me know if at any point in the future you think Ford is going to work with Tesla on anything, whether it be FSD, AI, batteries, anything at all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that, because it'd be very interesting to see how all of these players work together with each other, like Tesla buying batteries from BYD. You know, lots of little different components, but all of these different pieces can help this transition go faster. And just a quick reminder, if you have not voted for the annual shareholder meeting, please do so. I've got the link down in the description. You guys can click it there and place your votes. Every vote counts. I only have 10 shares myself, so even if you have one or two, definitely vote. It will definitely make a difference. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat, that link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a Patreon, that link is also in the description. Thank you so much, have a great one.